The next one has copies for everybody. It is from Bruce Perry. Since work obligations preclude my attendance at the informational meeting or public hearing for the 2013 street improvement projects, I file this letter as my objection to the proposed method of financing the project, thereby not waiving my right for objection as outlined in the notice sent to me of the project. Few would disagree that there is a need for infrastructure renovation in Sac City. Years of neglect and Band-Aid fixes have done little to resolve the issue of aging streets, water mains, and sanitary sewer and storm sewers in the community. One needs only to walk or bike over the city streets to understand the need for repair. The need for renovation is not the question. It is the method of financing the project that I entreat you to examine. Reading Mr. Ledford's article in the Sac Sun reminds citizens that the city has historically used a combination of assessment and general obligation bonds to finance street projects. According to Mr. Ledford, the current proposal would require homeowners to pay 30.59% of the project and the city to assume the remaining 69.41%. At first, it would appear that the city is assuming the lion's share of the responsibility. However, hearings last summer indicate that the city, property owners, and city-owned utilities are splitting the costs, roughly 1/3 each. The actual breakdown based on engineers' projections as given me by Mr. Ledford indicate the city utilities account for 35.7% of the project. One may think I am splitting hairs since the city owns the water and sewer lines. Nevertheless, residents pay for those services on a monthly basis with good faith understanding that the city will deliver water to the shutoff in the street outside the home and collect wastewater at the connection point in the street. When first installed in the area of town, homeowners are assessed to have water and sewer installed in the area. Amortization of replacement costs should be a part of the city utilities' long-term planning. If property owners must pay 30.59% of the cost, I would encourage council members to remove the cost of water and sewer replacement from the total cost, then assessed on the street portion only. If my understanding is correct, street assessments have historically been used in instances where streets went from gravel to hard surface, utilities were unavailable, or there were no curb and gutter. An examination of the 2013 street improvement project would indicate that most, if not all, of the improvements are in relative renovation of existing services rather than increasing services. Included in the assessment for each homeowner is the cost of driveway replacement where the street project necessitates. I understand that homeowners are responsible for driveway maintenance and that improvements in the parkway area are the homeowner's responsibility. Nevertheless, having a driveway is not an optional requirement in that city, and each home is required to have off-street parking. The engineer's projection for directly assessed driveway replacement is $213,072. Homeowners who have maintained their property are required to replace portions of well-maintained drives that are cut up as a result of the 2013 street project. I own and live in a relatively modest home on a 62-foot wide lot. The nearly century-old structure is comparable to many of the homes in the neighborhood. The proposed assessment on my home is $13,025, or 18.9% of the home's assessed value. It is realistic to assume that the 2013 street project will make my home increase in value? I know the courts have upheld the concept, but a significant increase in value seems doubtful. If the home were neglected and had a lower assessed value, the city would need to assume a portion of the proposed street assessment because of the state-imposed percentage cap. At the time when the city is working to improve the appearance of properties and eliminate decrepit buildings, the current street project essentially penalizes homeowners who maintain their properties. What is the impact of the proposed assessment? Using my home as an example, I note the following. 1, to pay the assessment over a 10-year period, payments would be more than $110 a month. 2, someone working at an hourly rate of $10, and many Sac City residents do, would need to work nearly 2 extra days a month for 10 years to pay the assessment. People on fixed incomes do not have this luxury. 3, paying the assessment over a 10-year period would effectively increase my taxes 121% for 10 years, not including tax increase to pay for city portion of the street project. 4, to fall within the traditional wisdom that housing should be less than 30% of monthly salary, a worker would need to make $4,400 more each year to afford the street assessment on my home. As members of the City Council, you have difficult choices. Limiting future bonding capabilities is not an attractive option. Making it difficult for people to remain in their homes is not an attractive option. Allowing infrastructure to further decay is not an attractive option. The choice is not easy. There must be some middle ground. I would encourage you to set a new precedent as we begin the renovation of infrastructure that is needed throughout the city, recognizing that bonding for the entire project is probably not feasible. May I propose the following? A, homeowners will be responsible for new utility connections from the street to their homes when deemed necessary, and the cost of repairing concrete drives and sidewalks damaged by the project will be included in the general cost of the project. B, the city will assume interest costs for 10 years if residents wish to divide the cost into 20 semi-annual payments that coincide with tax payments. Those wishing to pay street assessments in full may deduct 10% of the street assessment. Assessment will be the least amount of the following 3 criteria. 1, a street assessment of 18% of street portion of project to homeowner. 2, a maximum assessment of 15% of assessed value. 3, a maximum assessment determined by a formula, 6.5 times the 2011 house tax. Rationale limiting tax increases to 65% of yearly taxes for a 10-year period. Rationale, the proposal would still require homeowners to pay a portion of the street renovation cost while requiring the city utilities to pay for the replacement of water and sewer. At a time when downtown business owners are seeking assistance with facade improvement, the assistance with driveway costs would extend a similar benefit to homeowners whose driveways are torn up in the process of street renovation. The interest proposal would encourage homeowners to pay full assessments, which would reduce the amount of bonding required for the city. It would use more of a city bonding capacity without maximizing it. It would lessen the burden on specific homeowners and spread the burden of this and future projects among all property owners in the city. It is a compromise that would hopefully satisfy those who feel bound by historical precedent and also reach out to those who feel the assessment proposals are unreasonable. Thank you for your consideration and wisdom as you plan for Sac City's future. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me, Bruce Perry.